This is Echo 3, and let's discuss a Mun rescue mission. Reddit user GreatIanEmpire sent me his save file after stranding Valentina. For this mission, I'm going to utilize many of the making history parts. The P-Pod is ideal for this mission because it is lightweight and can hold 2 Kerbals. The pod doesn't have any reaction wheels though, so I'll be adding my own. The 1.8 meter parts seem to be the right size for this particular rocket. Also included with the DLC are these engine plates. They make it easy to attach 2 spark engines. The Cheetah engine works well as a second stage. It has a vacuum ISP of 355 and will provide a nice amount of thrust for only weighing 1 ton. Lastly, I'm using the 1.8 meter tanks and the remodeled Skipper engine for my booster stage. The Skipper provides the right amount of thrust for the booster stage. It doesn't have the best atmospheric specific impulse, but it only weighs 3 tons and is able to gimbal. I placed my winglets a little crooked. I'll fix that before launch. For this mission, solar panels are in order, and since this is going to land on the Mun, some landing legs are appropriate as well. Then, some extra power for good measure. This is a bit overbuilt, but this is a rescue mission and not a colonization effort. If executed perfectly, a Mun mission and return takes approximately 6,100 meters per second of delta V. This mission will need quite the margin as I will be trying to rendezvous with Valentina on the surface. I have budgeted a little over 7,000 meters per second. After building a rocket, it is always a good idea to check it over. A quick look at my centers indicates that this rocket is good to go. Center of mass is over the center of aerodynamic pressure. Center of thrust is in line. I have adjusted my fuel flow to make sure that the bottom tanks drain first. I need to fix some things with my staging. This is why it's always a good idea to check your staging. Alright, things look pretty good. I think it's time to launch. On the launch pad, I set the Mun as my target, turn SAS on, and launch. In this case, I started my gravity turn a little too early for the amount of thrust that this rocket has, so I'll end up losing a little more delta V to drag than I probably should have, but it won't be too much. The key to reaching orbit is going fast. Low Kerbin orbital velocity is about 2,300 meters per second, but most players need to budget around 3,400 meters per second due to gravity loss and drag, with gravity loss costing the most. My booster stage will get the ship into the upper atmosphere, and I'll use the Cheetah engine to get me the rest of the way into orbit, and most of the way to the Mun. I noted that the Mun is about the right location for my ejection burn as well, so I decided that I will end up combining my circularization burn and my ejection burn. I played with the maneuver node editor far more than I needed, but it is worth noting that the game now includes a way to make more precise maneuvers with the node editor at the bottom left of the screen. By selecting the Mun as my viewpoint, I am able to see exactly where my periapsis will be. I want a fairly low periapsis because the orbital injection will be cheaper. Also, I intend to land shortly after getting to the Mun, so there isn't much point in spending time in high Mun orbit. You can see that on my game Kerbin has clouds. I have downloaded Astronomer's Visual Pack and Scatterer to give my game a little bit more flavor while I play. Now my apoapsis is nearing the Mun. I'm going to watch very carefully because I'm going to have to stage between my Cheetah stage and my spark engines. But that's alright, this craft has plenty of delta V. Now the apoapsis nears the Mun, and I'm going to have to watch very carefully to get a close encounter. In this case, around 16,000 meters away from the surface. Time warp to the Mun, and we'll open up these solar panels so I don't run out of power and have to send a rescue mission. I'm going to carefully circularize around the Mun, and then I'll need to set up another maneuver to get close to Valentina. In this case, circularizing around the Mun generally takes around 310 meters per second from a normal ejection burn from Kerbin. Alright, now that's getting about done. We're going to think about setting up our inclination change to get to Valentina. We're not too far off, so this won't be that expensive. I'm going to combine this inclination change with my descent maneuver and set it just a little past Valentina. Then I'm going to set another maneuver node right over Valentina to give me an idea of just how much delta V I'm going to need to land. I'm not using any kind of indicators like trajectories or even Kerbal Engineer's readout for suicide burn. So anyone can do this, whether you're playing on console or PC. In this case, I've got around 520 to set up this burn. That'll work out just fine. And we're going to play this up just a little bit. We should land pretty close to our objective. Physics range in Kerbal Space Program is 2.2 kilometers. So ideally I land anywhere within that, and I can use the bracket keys to just switch over to Valentina and have her hop on over to the craft. Now I'm going to take it very gently here. The terrain's a little uneven and I want to make sure I pick a pretty good landing site. A lot of landers tend to be top heavy, and you want to make sure you land something pretty flat, otherwise you'll just tip over and have to have a rescue mission, just like Valentina over there. Now you can land fairly quickly, but I've got the lightest landing legs and I'm going to take it really easy on these so I don't risk breaking them with too much mass. Now I had a bit of a bug here as Jeb got out. I had problems controlling the Kerbal when he was falling or using his RCS pack. I'm not sure what was going on, and if anyone else has encountered this bug, maybe you can tell me what was going on and what I can do to fix it, because this became a real pain trying to get Jeb back in the capsule. I could go up, but I could not get him to go forward. So you're going to watch a little bit of my attempts here. I can walk just fine, but he tried to walk in the air, and I don't really know what was up with that. So we'll just use the magic of time warp, and eventually I did get in, cut out a lot of that pain. Let's just switch over to Valentina here, and we're going to get her over to her rescue craft. I didn't feel like trying to save the craft itself. It tipped over and didn't have any electrical power, so no reaction wheels. It was going to be really tough to save that craft. But Valentina's got her little RCS pack. We'll just fly right on over to the rescue craft. Take it easy, Valentina. Take it easy. 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 Okay, we'll just, we missed our exit. We'll come back and get it. No problem. And we got Valentina to the capsule, and time to take off. Now, we are not on the equator of the Mun, so we're going to end up in a bit of an inclined orbit. Now, if you remember, the key to getting into orbit, though, is going sideways, not going up. So at this point, I'm going to go sideways right away. Doesn't look like there's anything to worry about as far as mountains or hills to run into. And we'll just use around 580 meters per second to get into the Mun's orbit. That's about as efficient as you can get. But because my orbit is inclined relative to the equator of the Mun, I'm going to have to get a little bit creative if I want to land near the Kerbal Space Center on my way home. Now I'm going to play with my inclination as well as my prograde to try to eject the Mun exactly opposite from the Mun's orbit around Kerbin. This will put me in a fairly close to equatorial orbit around Kerbin, and I'll have a good chance of landing near the Space Center. We'll do our best, see if we can get close. It's not that easy to eject from the Mun and land at the Space Center, but I'm thinking we can get pretty close looking at where the Space Center is here from the Mun. Yeah, we're going to eject pretty much right on the equator. I think we got a good shot. If you have any other tips you'd like to share for landing on Kerbin from the Mun, that'd be wonderful to share with this community. It takes about 310 meters per second to go from the Mun and get to Kerbin. Yeah, all right, Kerbin's coming up close. We're fast. We're going to need to make a tiny maneuver here and adjust. Let's see. I'm not sure exactly how high we're going to need to be to nail the space center. There's a mod called Trajectories. It is really helpful for this, but I don't have it on right now, so I'm going to guess and hope I'm right. I think I got a good chance, though. We'll get really close. The capsule does come with a little bit of a blader, so we're not too worried about heating up. There's the space center, and we just overflew it. But I'm not too worried. We're close enough. We'll get picked up. And we have just saved Valentina from the surface of the Mun. Jeb and Valentina can splash down safely on Kerbin and call it a wrap.